What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sleeper Colts. I'm your host, as always, Cody Felger. Guys, Indianapolis Colts Day 2 is officially under wraps here for the Colts, and want to give you guys a quick recap here. As a reminder, I'm going to be trying to do a recap for every single practice for Sleeper Colts, as much as we possibly can for training camp now that we are officially back into football season. So if that's you and you're interested in that at all and following along, do me a couple favors. Number one, hit that like button. Number two, hit that subscribe button. Both those things help me out and help the channel out tremendously as we try to push it out to more fans, Colts fans and NFL fans alike. So if you would do me those two things, that would be fantastic. Thank you guys. Really do appreciate it. And not as headliney or as much stuff today in day 2 as there was in day 1 for Indianapolis, but there still were a good amount of nuggets of info that I think are valuable for Colts fans to hear. So number one, I think we got to start with the injury front. Obviously, right now, the two guys that missed practice are on the PUP list. Of course, we have Alec Pierce and CJ Allen. They haven't practiced thus far through the first two games through the first two practices of training camp. No surprise there. But another player did miss, and it's really kind of unknown at this point, although he didn't show up in the injury report, so I'm wondering if it's more of a personal issue. That's Akeem Davis-Gaither, the other linebacker, presumably the starting weak side linebacker if you're going out and playing tomorrow. So we'll just have to see if he's back tomorrow for practice or not. But that was the only other player that missed practice. That was a little bit of a surprise there, and we haven't really got any word on him. But other than that, it was definitely a pretty good day for Daniel Jones, all things considered. Had a fantastic 7-on-7 session there. He was perfect in the 7-on-7s today, which was definitely great to see. 11-on-11 was a little bit different. He had some really good throws, but he also had an interception. He had a kind of an ill-advised throw there and got tipped and picked off by Austin Ajayki. So that was kind of his only mistake today. But the thing that I'm kind of watching with Daniel Jones, because again, it is early, pads aren't on, is kind of his mobility, right? Like, is he mobile? Is he a guy that's able to make all the throws, especially the throws on the run? And Daniel Jones was doing that today. So looking sharp so far in only day 2. You know, I'm honestly surprised how well he's moving, given the fact that he's only, 7.5 months removed from a torn Achilles. So definitely great stuff there for Daniel Jones. And just if you're hoping that Daniel Jones can get back to where he was, it's certainly encouraging to see where he already is early on into training camp so far. So that's really exciting. And also, I think it's really good that Jones has been in there because, you know, without Alec Pierce, Josh Downs is the only other notable guy that got snaps last year outside of Tyler Warren, of course, but only other wide receiver that's got meaningful snaps last year. You know, you have Ashton Doolin, who was more of a special teams guy last year. You know, you brought in a player like Indick Westbrook-Akine. You brought in Deion Burks in the draft, and you have a couple other guys as well, like a Laquan Treadwell, who's been a practice squad guy. He's been getting some runs. So just building that camaraderie and building that chemistry with the receivers now, I think is definitely good. Even if you do add a receiver, you know, in free agency coming up, the Colts did have a visit with Chase Claypool, which is kind of an interesting name, although he hasn't played since 2023. So you're kind of like, you know, is this another Nasir Adderley situation? If you remember, the Colts signed him and then waived him a couple weeks later. It really was nothing there. But I'm kind of curious, like, where do the Colts view their wide receiver room right now? And I think they're getting a really good look at it with Pierce out on everybody else, right? So yeah, right now it's kind of interesting, but going back to Daniel Jones, great to see that he is seemingly healthy. He's able to make the throws on the run. He's able to scramble if he needs to. All that stuff is certainly a positive thing there. Again, the pads haven't come on quite yet, but great to see in the first 2 practices so far for Daniel Jones. So far, so good. All right. Speaking of quarterback, let's flip it over to the backup quarterback position. You know, yesterday we saw Anthony Richardson be the official backup quarterback. He got the starting reps with the 2s, and then it was Riley Leonard who took the majority of the snaps with the 2s. And today it kind of flip-flopped, and I'm kind of wondering if that's how it's going to be throughout the majority of training camp, where one day it's Anthony Richardson, the next day it's Riley Leonard, but the snap counts kind of change and shift given on the certain practice. So, it was kind of the flip-flop where it was Riley Leonard, but then Anthony Richardson got a lot of the snaps there. So that's kind of what it was there for day 2 with the backup quarterback position. Seems like it's still very much neck and neck. No real clear-cut guy pulling ahead yet. I mean, it's so early, I don't expect that. But yeah, just kind of interesting there. A couple other things that I wanted to talk about as well. And actually a lot on the defensive side that I kind of want to touch on. Right now, Arden Key is still that other edge alongside Latu, but we saw a little bit more of a run with the ones for Jalen Tuimuluau. So that's really encouraging there. Hopefully he can build upon that. Again, it's so hard to tell with the pads off on the line, both offensive and defensive lines, but I'm really hopeful that Jalen Tuimuluau can carve himself out a nice role here in year 2, because there's a prime golden opportunity on a platter for him to do that. So I'm really hopeful that that's a sign of some positive things his way, which is definitely good there. Hunter Wohler continues to be that starting strong safety. I'm very intrigued as well. Once the pads come on, does anything change there? Or do the Colts give AJ Hulsey a chance to be the starter for a week or for a practice or two, kind of see how he is? It's still early on, so a lot remains to be seen right now. But so far, it looks like it's Wohler who's starting, which is kind of crazy considering the fact that he's essentially a rookie as well, right? He was a 7th-round pick last year, didn't get really any substantial snaps outside of training camp, no NFL action really outside of camp, and yet so far, he's the starter out there alongside of Cameron Bynum. So those are a couple interesting notes there on the defensive side of the ball. But I really want to touch on, there's a lot of good stuff here from a couple different people, from some players, from Lou Anarumo, about this cornerback room. First off, Charvarius Ward was very candid with the media today. He was asked the question about his potential retirement, and Ward said he was 85% of the way to retirement, but he found a new purpose for playing. So outside of purely the football side of things, it's really I think it's really brave for a player like Ward to be able to just come out and be honest about where he was. I mean, it's hard to talk about that stuff, I'm sure. I can't even imagine with what the last 2 years have been like for Ward, with obviously the stuff with his daughter and then the injury stuff last year. It's been a rough couple years for him. So I'm glad that he's in a better mental space. I'm glad that he found that new purpose, and I'm excited to see what he can bring this year. I mean, outside of with him and Charvarius Ward, I really think we're already starting to see what this duo can become on the outside. And Lou Anarumo even talked about it, right? He said, hey, there's been a lot of capital invested into this cornerback position for sure. So you need a major return on it. Absolutely. And he really is excited about this cornerback room and what it can become. And he's really excited about, outside of the top 2 guys, he's also very bullish on second-year corner Justin Walley, who, remember, was a 3rd-round pick back in 2025, was having an extremely strong camp, looked like he was on his way to starting, and then boom, injury happens, and he's out for the year. And now, with a prime opportunity with Kenny Moore no longer on the team, that slot corner position is ripe for the taking. Justin Walley is that starting nickel right now for you. And so far, we've heard a lot of good things about Justin Walley. He had a great practice today against the ones. We had a couple flashes. He broke up a deep sideline pass from Daniel Jones to Josh Downs, and he's done a lot of great things coming back from that torn ACL he suffered last year in that joint practice against the Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, certainly encouraging to see Justin Walley picking up where he left off. Really, him and Hunter Wohler. I mean, we were hearing strong stuff about both these guys last year. And so it's great to see that these guys really haven't missed a beat, and they are continuing to show why the Colts were so high upon them. And now I just want to see them against other teams, right? I want to see them in preseason, in joint practice, and obviously in regular season, because we've been hearing so much good stuff about them, but I want to see them in live action. I'm just so excited about what these 2 guys could provide for that secondary for sure. And I think that's really it, guys, in regards to what happened on day 2. A lot of interesting conversations on the defensive side of the ball. And really that wide receiver 3 position is still something that we're really not sure about. And even with Alec Pierce, there's still a big question mark about the depth of that position. So I think the Colts should absolutely, in my personal opinion, be signing a wide receiver tomorrow. But we'll have to see. And obviously, if Pierce continues to miss time here. If he's not out for a couple more weeks, the Colts are going to get a much clearer picture on that wide receiver room. But yeah, guys, we'll have to see how that all does play out. And again, we have some players right now who are kind of the quote unquote starters right now at these certain position battles. But again, a lot can change. And obviously when the pads come on, it's a whole different ball game in regards to those position battles. But yeah, guys, just wanted to bring you a quick update here. Let me know your thoughts. Again, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this and all episodes here of Sleeper Colts. And guys, I'm so excited because we are just one day closer to the start of the regular season. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. That'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, have a good one.